My dear Dolly, Polly, shut your eyes. Lie still, lie silent, utter no cries as the witch.
So, would you do it? If you had the power and the ultimate opportunity to condemn the soul of the person you loathe the most to total damnation, would you take it? Maya was an 18-year-old senior in high school. She was a very smart girl with a very bright future ahead of her. But her geeky appearance made her a target of mean girl bullying, especially with one girl in particular named Cynthia. Cynthia was a spoiled rich kid who basically had everything handed to her in life, including her good grades, in which either her parents bribed teachers for, or she would get other smart kids to get them for her. Maya was the only one that refused to do such a thing, and ever since has been the target of Cynthia's wrath. Throughout the majority of the school year, Maya was constantly picked on by Cynthia and her ragtag friends. They would trip her in the hallways, call her names, trash her locker, and most of all, they would beat her up. Maya usually just brushed everything off and continued with life. But eventually, the bullying reached its breaking point when one evening, while walking home from school, Cynthia's two friends cornered Maya and beat her up at her request. But the beating was so bad, it put her in the hospital. One evening, as she sat there in the hospital bed of a cold, lonely hospital room, Maya went onto her phone and started looking for ways to defend herself from her bullies, from weapons to self-defense classes. That was until she came upon a link that read, "Instant revenge, only a click away." Curious to see what this was about, Maya clicked on the link. It took her to an eerie website that was crimson red. It showed a woman dressed in all white with jet black hair that covered her face. She was standing in the middle of a river surrounded by dead trees. Just then, a message came up. Type in the name of the person you want to exact revenge upon. Thinking that it was a joke website, Maya played along and input Cynthia's full name. Just then, a message popped up. Be back shortly. The website then pixelated and disappeared. Writing it off like it was some joke, Maya put her phone back on the charger and went to sleep. That night around midnight, as Maya lay to sleep, all of a sudden, her cell phone went off. Who could be calling me at this time of night? Maya wondered as she slowly got up. When she checked her phone, it showed that she had a message from an unknown number. When she opened it, the message read, "So, do you still want revenge on Cynthia?" Baffled by the message, Maya tried calling the number, but all she got was a bunch of eerie static. A few seconds later, another message appeared. "Do you want revenge? Yes or no?" Now Maya was really worried. Was the website she thought was a joke trying to reach her? "Who is this?" Maya texted. There was a short pause until finally a reply came back. "You'll get your answer when I get one. Yes or no." So, playing along to see what would happen, Maya texted yes. There was another short pause, then finally, "All right, let's begin." The screen on Maya's phone pixelated again, and the screen went blank. Just then, A chill came over the already cooled down room. As Maya shivered, she closed her eyes for a few seconds. But when she opened them, what she saw was unbelievable. Because standing at the foot of her hospital bed was the lady in white from the website. She had very pale skin, and then, as she lifted her head and pulled her hair back, she revealed her eyes, which were all white. Maya started to scream, but before she could, the lady stood before her with her finger pressed against Maya's lips softly.
Shh! I'm not gonna hurt you,
She said.
You summoned me, and now I offer you a deal.
Just then, she handed Maya a rolled up parchment with a ring attached to it and had a black X on it. What is it? Maya asked.
It's my offering to you.
The lady replied.
Should you pull this ring, the soul of the person you want me to exact revenge upon, I shall do so immediately.
After hearing that, Maya started to pull the ring right then and there, but the lady stopped her.
However, by doing so, you form a soul bond between you and me. That means when you die, your soul is condemned to the same fate as your tormentor, and all you'll know for all eternity is fear, torture, and pain.
Just then, black ooze started forming underneath Maya. As the ooze formed into hands, they began clawing and pulling away at her. As Maya screamed as she tried to break away, the hands slowly kept pulling her into the abyss. Meanwhile, the lady in white was just staring there with her blank eyes. Next thing you know, Maya was being woke up by a nurse. Once she gained her composure, the nurse told her that she was being released today. But Maya was still dazed and confused as to what just happened. Was it all a nightmare? That would have been the reasonable explanation until she reached for her phone. And there, lying next to it, was the sealed parchment the lady gave her. Seeing it made her think about everything that she said. But putting it all to the side for now, Maya got dressed before her parents came and discharged her from the hospital. The following Monday, when Maya returned to school, she was kindly greeted by many fellow students and teachers. She had also learned that since the accident, Cynthia and her friends were suspended once they found out they were involved. That was great news for Maya, until it was time to go home. As she was halfway there, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Cynthia and her two buddies appeared. "Well, look what we have here," she said. She then went on to blame Maya for her school suspension, as well as her parents grounding her for having to repeat her senior year again. "Well, you shouldn't be a bully," Maya said. As she tried to pass Cynthia to continue on her way home, Cynthia grabbed Maya by the hair and forcefully pulled her to the ground. The trio then did what they did the most. They beat her up. When they stopped kicking the defenseless Maya, who was curled up in a ball whimpering, Cynthia then took a can of soda and poured it all over her. The trio then proceeded to walk away laughing, but as they were leaving, "Damn you, Cynthia." As Cynthia turned around, there stood a very angry Maya, holding the sealed parchment with one hand and her hand on the ring. "Ooh, what are you gonna do with that?" Cynthia joked. The answer came right away after Maya screamed, "Damn you to hell!" As she pulled the ring off the parchment, a huge cloud of red smoke, followed by a cyclone-like wind, engulfed the bunch. But when everything calmed, only Maya and Cynthia remained. The other two girls were nowhere in sight. They then looked around to notice that they were on a boat in the middle of a river surrounded by dead trees with a crimson red sky. Just like the website, Maya noticed. Where the hell am I? Cynthia asked, looking at her surroundings. Just then, out of nowhere, the lady in white appeared. Her once blank eyes were now blood red, and she stared at a terrified Cynthia.
You have tormented Maya for the last time, and now it is time for you to spend the rest of eternity feeling the same.
Just then, the same black ooze that formed in the hands that Maya experienced appeared and started clawing away at Cynthia. As Cynthia screamed for help, the hands clawed away at her, tearing at her clothes and ripping the flesh off of her face and body as they dragged her into the abyss. Maya watched on in complete horror as she watched her bully being mangled while being pulled to her grisly fate. But before the hands could take her completely under, Cynthia looked up at Maya. With a fleshless face, she barely whispered out the words, "I'm sorry." After that, the hands took her under and disappeared. As Maya fell to her knees in disbelief as to what had just happened, the lady in white stood before her.
Your grievance is now avenged.
She then extended her hand to Maya. As Maya slowly and cautiously extended hers, the lady quickly grabbed onto it. There was a sizzling, painful interaction, and when the lady finally let go, Maya looked at her hand, and there, in the middle of it, was a black X.
Our bond is complete.
The lady said.
Now, wake up.
Maya instantly woke up. When she did, she was at the exact same spot from where everything had transpired. Was it all just a dream? Maya asked herself. That was until she felt the sting in the palm of her right hand. As she slowly turned it, what it revealed would total shock Maya. For in the middle of her hand was a black X. Sad, isn't it? Since Maya asked for a higher being to condemn Cynthia's soul to eternal torment, she's never going to be able to enjoy the pleasures of heaven, no matter how much she prays, repents, or begs for forgiveness. There are a couple of things to learn from this story, though. One, when a person is tormented, picked on, or bullied to their breaking point, the decision to make it all go away can be quite severe. And two, as long as people's thirst for revenge lets their emotions dictate their actions immediately, then a job like this will never stop.
My dear Dolly, Polly, shut your eyes, lie still, lie silent, utterly.